Alright, here we are for another track guide. We're at Darlington, and I'm going to try to speed these up so I can get this done quick. So, keys to the race car, tires, as usual, because they fall off quick and heat is your enemy. And number 2, you can see it there because of that. Your exits are the places where most things will happen because it's real slick and you're good until you're not. And the cost for all that is more than likely the low downforce and more power, which I think should be the norm. And because of that extra power, restarts are hectic because wheels spin, and being that it's Darlington, we have to run a weird line, so, diamonding. So let's do my usual stuff, get to the lap, get to pit road, we'll talk about it. Alright, make our way to pit road. We're gonna enter 3 like normal, except we just keep downshifting. And then you turn down, pretty much where that yellow line was, keep it to the left side of the cone, stay here at your speed limit. Cone's 45 miles per hour, let's speed that up. It's a weird bumpy pit road. There's your exit, and keep it under this yellow line. And I will say this is very slippery. Like, you will spin yourself if you're not careful. And there's your merge cone. So yeah. Alright, here we are about to take our lap. Fix that up. There's the weather. You can see it on the little gear selection thingy. And that does make a difference because the Apex, they're a little bit slower, but it's also a little bit warmer, and that little bit goes a long way. So that's probably why I changed nothing with the setup, except down to 47 something. I don't remember the exact number. 47% of the brake bias. And that's it, I changed nothing else. This was done on the first lap. And if you run like this in the race, you'll probably die. Which is why I included a little 10 lap run, because that's all I needed to make a point of the tire wear. So, let's see how this lap was done. We'll talk about it. Try to work in that new little graph. And see how that goes. So here we go. Alright, this lap we're going a little bit easier, but I might have done too much here. Don't mind the little wall nicks, but everything's just a little smoother throttle wise. And that's really all I can mention. I'm going to show like the last lap of this run. But even then, I did a really poor job on tire management. But yeah, that's the lap. And there we have it for a 29.062, which if you try to run that, you'll die. Just saying it. Even though I was fully on the throttle, out of 2, I was not very much in control of that. So let's back that up. Alright, so you can see the car like step out randomly. That's just what happens. And I'm going to use this lap to do the majority of the explanation, but I will talk about the slower laps, if you will. Alright, and for this section, I won't be able to show the graph, not yet at least. I gotta do some other stuff to make that work the way I want it to. So we'll just make our way into 1. I'll have to do some pausing. Alright, I paused it here because it's right before I turn in. And you can see that logo on that sign that's over there on the fence. I'm kind of looking at that. I'm pointing towards that, but the closer we get to it, you'll want to make your approach to turn in before you do any other input. I think. Let me look. Yeah, see, I'm turning in here and I'm getting on the brakes. Enough brakes to make sure this bitch slows down enough, because if not, it'll just keep sliding up to the wall because you lose the whole front end once you get to the bottom there. And here's something that is unique to Darlington. Well, in a way, I think you can treat any track like this if you really wanted to, but you want to treat these corners as actual separate corners. 1 and 2, if you will, would be this first little part that you just saw me apex, and then slide up to the wall, or you're going to see me slide up to the wall. And then the exit treat as another set of corners, sort of like Indianapolis. Because you want to go down to the bottom where you saw me go there, but it will not stay there, and there's no grip if you stay down there, so you have to kind of let it drift up. which is where this comes into play. Now get really close to this wall and this logo on the wall. This red part here is where I'm kind of looking at to turn back down. So you can see I'm out of the gas again because we're basically setting up a second set of quarters. So we're going to start making our way down. There's no grip at this point, by the way. You're kind of using the throttle to turn the car. And I got really lucky here. I was able to hit full throttle, but it does not work out that way every single time. And here is really important. You don't want to go any lower than I am here because it flattens out. The car will get upset. But I will say if the car is tight and you need extra rotation, you can kind of split the seam, if you will. And that'll help it rotate, but it'll come at a nasty side effect where extra tire wear becomes an issue. Keep an eye out for that because it'll kill you. Late exit when you pound the wall or just straight up spin out. So I'm going to slow mode again. Here's that little bit that I mentioned where everything's in control until you're not. Everything looks fine on paper. It's not. I got a little loose there and I actually thought I was going to spin the damn thing. Alright, here's where the majority of the fun comes from this track. Because you're braking, well, for an oval in this era of NASCAR where you don't got to use much brake, you're using a little bit of brake. I'm in 5th gear, by the way. I didn't downshift in turn 1. You can if you want, but I didn't. So let's slow-mo this because you're kind of aiming for that little bow in the wall that comes out from the safer barrier. So let me slow it down here. I'm going to turn in, I'm going to start braking. I kind of could have moved up more, but that's where you want to grab a downshift. And just like turn 1, except we're trail braking pretty deep into the corner. Now we're letting it roll all the way up to this Darlington sign again. And you kind of want to stay up. There's a lot of grip up there, but it's not ideal. I'm using a diamond effect here. Once I got it pointed down, I did the same thing. Nice straight exit. Any wheel input after the center of the corner will kill you. As you can kind of see there, I would just yank me to the left. Alright, that's it for this track guide. Try to be quick about it. It's Darlington, so it's a fun, slippery track, but it will bite you quick. So you're pretty much racing it and not the other drivers. And hopefully this helps somebody, but yeah, kind of in a hurry for this one, so apologies on that end, but yeah,